Myself, Zohaib Hassan Sain from Pakistan, and the topic of my paper is Challenges in Quality of Education in Higher Education Institutions of Pakistan. These are the contents. Introduction. What does quality mean in the context of education? Many definitions of quality in education exist, testifying to the complexity and multifaceted nature of the concept. Considerable consensus exists around the basic dimensions of quality education today. Quality education includes learners who are healthy, well-nourished, and ready to participate and learn, and supported in learning by their families and communities. Environment that is healthy, safe, protective, and gender-sensitive, and also provide adequate resources and facilities. In Pakistan, the education system is categorized into 5 levels. These are primary level from class 1 to 5, middle level class 6 to 8, secondary level class 9 to 10, intermediate level class 11 to 12, and university from class 13 to onwards. After focusing on levels of education, if we talk about schools, types, these are government institutions, private institutions, and madrasas. Quality of education in higher education institutions of Pakistan is really having a bad configuration at the moment. There is no doubt in accepting the fact that education stands the backbone for development of nations. Pakistan is still struggling with the lowest literacy rate, 60% in the world, even after 74 years of its existence. This study attempts to analyze the various challenges in quality of education in higher education institutions of Pakistan. The role of total quality management in educational sectors is a basic research problem. In Pakistan, the quality of education has a declining trend. Previous researches provided only short-term solutions of the problems and information related to the public sector higher education institutions. In this research, most important challenges are discussed along with their recommendations. This research will be helpful to students, researchers, managers, policymakers, trainers, target population, and general public. Statement of the problem. This research is aimed at identifying the factors affecting quality of education in higher education institutions of Pakistan. And the research questions are, what are the challenges and quality of education in higher education institutions of Pakistan? What solutions can be proposed in order to improve the quality of education in higher education institutions of Pakistan? The main objective of the study is to identify the challenges and quality of education in higher education institutions of Pakistan, and the sub-objectives are to identify the relationship between curriculum and quality of education, between less training institutions and quality of education, between corruption in education and quality of education, between teachers' behavior and quality of education, relationship between less research work and quality of education. As you can see the theoretical framework in front of you, these are the research hypotheses, methodology. An exploratory approach has been adopted for this research. The reason for using this approach is to identify the challenges in quality of education in higher education institutions of Pakistan. A sample of 5 universities was selected on the basis of commonalities such that all institutions were from the public sector and chartered by the same provincial government. Similar environment dependency on the same superior ministry, locality, and nature justifies selection of the sample. A total of 100 questionnaires for each university were filled by the students and teachers of the focus 5 universities. The researcher used triangulation in order to carry the reliability and validity of the data for results. So to conduct this triangulation, the researcher used polling survey for the students, questionnaire for the teachers, and interviews of the management. As you can see, the table categorizing the 3: students, teachers, and management. Data analysis. This is the summary of the students' feedback through polling survey. This is the summary of the teachers' feedback of the focus 5 universities. Results and discussion. In this study, the researcher has applied Pearson correlation to check the hypothesis. The value of Pearson correlation varies between 1 and -1. As you can see, the Pearson correlation value of curriculum and quality of education is 0.576. Less training institutions and quality of education is 0.862. Corruption in education and quality of education is 0.405. Teachers' behavior and quality of education is 0.644. Less research work and quality of education is 0.687. Conclusion. This paper concludes that education develops people in all domains of life, such as social, moral, spiritual, political, and economic. With effective education system, many countries are playing a leadership role in the Committee of Nations. The quality of education system in Pakistan has not been able to play its role effectively in nation building. This factor has contributed towards development of frustration among the Pakistani society. Finally, this study concludes that there is an urgent need to reform the system of quality of education in Pakistan, and for this purpose, the study presents the following recommendations. Curriculum should be evaluated on annual basis. In this regard, a vast survey could be conducted to seek options of teachers, parents, and community regarding their expectations and observations. In this light, the expert recommendations of the education researchers, the curriculum goals should be redefined. In the view of importance of education, the government should take solid steps towards implementation instead of projecting policies like forming an evaluation team that could take control of the quality of education. In this regard, government should establish more training institutions for better and continuous feature of quality of education in Pakistan. The system of accountability should be strengthened, and all the professionals associated with the system of education should be educated to own their responsibilities on individual and collective basis. This helps in creating a sense of ownership of the system and its functions. Government should conduct workshops and training programs, making teachers aware about their behavior towards students. The culture of research should be promoted within educational institutions. For this purpose, the pace of research-oriented programs in teaching and learning should be accelerated in educational institutions around the country, especially at higher levels. Government should increase the volume of funding to Higher Education Commission for this purpose. These are the references. Thank you.